Yeah, the floor. Thanks, George. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me. I've been in cybersecurity now for 26 years, based in Colorado. So we're going to talk about online shopping scams. You see here a number of different scams. Obviously, as a cybersecurity vendor, we have tens of millions of consumer customers out there in the world that we have to protect them against all these different types of scams. So we see a lot of information about this, but we're going to target mostly about online shopping. And these are some of the big brands that we've been noticing and seeing a lot of the scams targeted. So you can see delivery scams through DHL, USPS, all of those types, Walmart, Costco, Netflix, T-Mobile, all of these big brands tend to be utilized because what's the one thing that they all have in common? A lot of them are trusted, right? They're big, well-known brands that people would recognize if they get a message from them. And if they get a great opportunity, great offer from these companies, these victims may end up being targeted there. So couple of things to look at. One of the big ones for shopping is fake online shops. You heard about that earlier. Here's an example of an irresistible price, right? So you see from 119 down to 65. That's one of the biggest lures that you're going to see in online shopping. People are looking for deals. We're going into the holiday seasons. People want to get good deals. There's a global recession going on. People want to get good deals, right? So they're going to start looking and be big time. That's going to be a problem as we go forward. So the irresistible prices. The other thing we see a lot of is flash sales. So you'll get a text message or you'll get an email or a phone call, whatever it might be, and it's going to be about a flash sale. You got 80% off on this product. So these flash sales are another tactic that they utilize. Purchase records popping up out of nowhere. So all of a sudden you will get a pop-up that says you've purchased something, verify your purchase or verify the delivery of this. And a lot of it's going to be to just get you to click, right? Click on a link, open an attachment, something like that. So that's another area that we see quite a bit of. And then unusual payment methods is another area that we see a lot of tactics being used by these malicious actors and scammers out there. So, you get electronic transfers, cryptocurrency, prepaid gift cards are a big one where they ask for payment. They may only offer cash or delivery, cash on delivery, something like that is another area that we see often with these attacks. If you pay and get a package, as you heard earlier, a lot of times it's not going to be what you bought. It's going to be some cheap product or cheap service that they substitute out. Or for example, I just had one the other day with Facebook. I got a notice up there. It said, hey, you got these golf products. I'm a golfer. So I got a targeted ad to me about getting golfing goods at really cheap prices. Normally you'd see about $300. They were offering them for $60. Fake store right there. Boom. So another thing is phishing and smishing. Smishing is just SMS phishing. They are looking to get access to the victim's accounts. And they do that through a lot of pop-up options. You get a lot of text messages in that case. So phishing is a big one because if they can get access to your account, they basically can do whatever they want, right? Because now they can scam your friends and family because it's messages coming from your account. So it's very trusted. So if I can get access to that, if I can steal the credentials of those people, it's a big one. This one is just an example of a Costco one that we saw. Shipment notifications. You can see here, a lot of times it'll pop up with a message with a login account for your DHL account, for example. If you use DHL or one of the other online accounts that you have, it would pop up with your login process. And they're getting very good at mimicking the login process of all these different types of applications. And you can see here with like USPS, they're going to pop that up. And if you as a victim, unfortunately, if you type in your username and password, that goes right to those scammers. So now they have access to your account. Fake online surveys. So there's a lot of survey ones where they'll offer you payment or whatever for taking a survey. You click on a link, the survey pops up, you do it. A lot of it's just to steal your personal information about it. So they'll ask you for more information about yourself. And you'll see that. Fake login pages, as you can see there as well. Another tactic is e-skimming. So this is where they would implant malware on a online shop, a legitimate online store. And when you enter your credit card or financial information, they will steal that through that malware that's running on those. They're getting very good at actually compromising legitimate businesses and e-commerce businesses. So e-skimming is a big one. You may have heard in the past, a lot of this has been done with ATMs. So you go to an ATM and they have a skimmer on there. So that when you put in your ATM card, it just reads your card and gets all the information off it. Very similar tactic here, but it's online, right? It's all digitally based. So when you're entering your information for that transaction, they'll just steal that data from you. Now you'll probably still get the goods and services that you ordered because it's a legitimate business. The problem is all of your financial transaction information goes to a criminal as well, not just the vendor who you're buying the products from. Pop-up advertisements. Advertisements are big. We call them malvertisements in the cybersecurity area. So when you go to a website, you'll see an ad pop up. In a lot of cases, they've compromised the ad network in many cases. So their ads will show up in that case, or they'll do something to make sure that their ads pop up and when those pages are shown. So when you click on that link, obviously you click on an ad, all of a sudden you'll get, malware could be installed on your machine, or it may pop up a phishing login account, something like that. They'll try to steal that information there. Couple of examples we're going to see shortly here. We're starting to already see Black Friday. So we got Black Friday coming up very shortly here. As I said before, this is the biggest year for online shopping is during the holidays. So the online shoppers are going to have to deal with a lot of these scams happening. Victims are going to be out there getting offers for these. So, here's an SMS one, last chance. Today's our last day of our Black Friday sales in October special. So again, it's going to offer something very good for the victim to try to get them to click and link. We saw, you can see here, we saw 13,000 malicious URLs associated with Black Friday already. That we're blocking on a regular basis. I think we had about a 60% increase in malicious URLs associated with scams year over year for Halloween. So the Halloween types of people looking for candy and buying candy. So that was one. Here's another example. Dyson is the vendor Dyson is being targeted here. Impressions you see here. This was 14, almost 15,000 malicious URLs that we saw and we started to block. So that's another Black Friday. So I wanted to just that's lots of this stuff is happening. And as George mentioned, we as a company are going to do as much as possible as we can as a private industry corporation that to prevent and support this effort. So a couple of things. We're going to continue our research. We publish research all the time on our website, tremicro.com. You can go there and just, click on it. We just published one on biometrics. So all the cameras out there that are really good at clicking, you do your hand like this. Now your fingerprints are stolen. We'll invest in people, process, and technology. We've been around for 34 years. We'll continue to invest in the people, process, and technology that happens. We just actually literally ran a AI contest internally. We had 2,000 employees that built a robot that had to go around a track, and we threw things at it, so it had to see unknown issues that would come up, and it had to be able to maneuver around it. Has nothing to do with cybersecurity. We're a technology vendor. We're learning technology. AI is a big part of what we do as a business to prevent threats. But we're using out-of-the-box tactics to help our employees. Public-private partnerships. We partner with George all the time, as he said. very quickly, we're going to be supporting that. You know, when there's a new malicious URL, we send it to George. He sees a new one, he sends it to us. So it's a bilateral, bi-directional feed. We do that with many different organizations out there. NECMEC is another one, National Child Exploitation Group. We work with them very prominently. We work with law enforcement on a regular basis. We actually have somebody stationed in Singapore at the Interpol office that uses and we share our information with law enforcement agencies when they're dealing with those kind of threats. You can see here we blocked over 94 billion threats last year for our customers. So we'll continue the fight. We'll continue to help the collaboration efforts. But again, as you're going into this season of online shopping, be careful. A lot of them out there, bad things out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions to John? Yes, would you mind standing up? John, would you mind repeating the question? You're already taking your laptop with you.
Smart.
We have seen in the past some large online shopping operations that are actually using registered companies. Some of those are registered in China, UK, Cyprus, and others. So can you comment about the obstacles or opportunities this brings on
With legitimate companies?
Yeah,
registered companies. So the question is how do we deal with registered companies and legitimate companies that may be targeted and utilized in these types of threats? So yeah, I mean, one of the things you're starting to see is them utilizing legitimate infrastructure as part of their attack. So, you know, we talked about domains earlier, right? A lot of times the legitimate domains are taken over and utilized by these threat actors. So it does make it difficult because you can't really take down a legitimate site because that's a legitimate site, right? So we work with the organizations, let them know that they've got issues on their website, for example, if it's been compromised, and we'll try to help them deal with that situation. In many cases, what you find out is when it's a legitimate site that's been compromised, it's actually just used as a redirect ultimately to a malicious domain that downloads malware from you. So we go through the entire attack lifecycle and find out if we get to a illegitimate domain or a web page or something, that's where we will block it. So, but it does make it a challenge because that's why legitimate businesses are in business. They got to have their websites up, so you can't be just dropping them and taking them down all the time. And we don't usually take down a full website. We may take down a page if it's just one page. We may block that. So, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
One more question from the audience.
I'm Nick from Crystal Blockchain. It's just a general question. We believe that payment is a tactic, right? And tactics are hard to change. And we see that with ransomware gangs and cryptocurrencies they ask for and so on and so forth. For online shopping type scams, what is the most prevalent form of payment? Is it still just traditional debit credit cards, or are they starting to branch out into other sorts of things?
Yeah, good. So what is the main form of payment that these fake online shops offer? So today it's still recommended is the credit cards. So people input their credit cards because, again, they'll steal that data and then they can use that information to do other things and buy other goods and services. But you're starting to see, as you saw, gift cards are a big form of payment that they're using because they're difficult to track. They're easy to utilize. They're easy to get. That's it. And then cryptocurrency, certainly we've seen more and more of that. But again, that's tough for a lot of consumers out there. A lot of people don't have cryptocurrency accounts. So what is the biggest one? It's credit cards because everybody has credit card payments.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, applause. Very good. Thank you.